Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of KaneSaid. And y'all know my slogan, the fame is free, but the grind costs, baby. Listen, I got a special guest in the house, man. I got a real life dog in the house, man. And we're going to talk that talk. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Man, let people know who you are, baby.
Sure, yeah. My name is Coach Blase Leverett. I'm at LaGrange High School, and I coach cross country. I'm a native son to West Georgia, and I'm happy to be here.
Yes, sir, man. Glad you're here, man. Glad you're here, man. Look, we've been trying to do this for a little minute now, so I'm glad we're able to do it now, man. So listen, man. Let's go ahead and jump onto this thing, man. Man, when people talk Coach Leverett, man, tell them who you really are.
Sure. We have this dichotomy with, old school and new school type of coaches.
Yeah.
And I feel like my philosophy and approach is reflective of some new type of approaches. We really try to bring the best out in kids, and that's not to say that old school coaches don't do the same. But the verbiage, the language, the kind of direction that we want to build upon is like sort of a foundation to create success on the course and off the course. I mean, we really try to embrace the whole, they're a student before they're an athlete.
I like that.
And as a result, we get to witness their growth, their progression, and we get to see their faces when they realize that they can achieve something they didn't believe from the first day of summer workouts.
I dig that, man. So, I'm give me your history, man. You know what I'm saying? Were you born and raised, all that type of good stuff.
Right. My hometown is Columbus, Georgia.
Okay.
I've lived all over the state. I was fortunate to find myself here in LaGrange.
Okay.
I was a multi-sport athlete. I played baseball, basketball, ran track, did football. My coaching experience, I've coached football, lacrosse, and this is my second year coaching cross country. And I'm here to tell you, it is a late in life love. I mean, I really fell in love with distance running, and I was fortunate enough to connect with our athletic director, Mike Polly.
Shout out. What's up, Coach, baby?
Coach Polly.
Yeah.
He saw that I was doing races, and I was outside on the thread, always running and this, that, and the other, and he approached me, and he is a hard man to say no to, by the way. And so I agreed, and we put together a wonderful coaching staff who has been nothing short of supportive. And I've been leaning a lot on their expertise, and as a result, we have made strides in our ability to win some meets, place individually, qualify for state, win the county championship, and it's really, really a passion of mine.
Yeah. So what comes along with my guest getting your staff together? You know what I mean? What were you looking for?
Well, the cards just sort of fell into place. I was lucky enough to come into contact with an individual who is a valedictorian, former track and cross country runner for LaGrange and also Florida State University. Shout out to Coach Patrick Calcutt, who's also won multiple state championships as a coach and as a runner, and we have been running races together. And also that brought me into connection with Coach Mary Blank, who was a collegiate cross-country runner as well.
Wow.
So we have, two leeways with our co-ed team for the boys and the girls. And we try to create a culture that's conducive to not just winning, but being the best individual that you can be. I mean, we say, hey guys, show up, do your best, but we really want them to lean on each other and hold each other accountable, because if you're not going to get better unless you compete with each other. So that's why we stack the season schedule with these like 5A, 6A schools, so they can see what what the best runners look like and how they're approaching the meet days. So.
So what comes along with preparing an athlete to run cross country? Because you got to think about it. Guy like me, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, man? I can't remember the last time I ran a mile.
Right.
I'm a sprint type guy, right? You know what I mean? But how do you condition someone mentally?
Sure.
You know what I mean, to do that?
That's the name of the game. Mental toughness is really, in my opinion, is what cross country is centered around. Because you have your mind and your body, and sometimes they're not quite in sync.
Yeah.
And you really have to develop two things: that's your lactic threshold and your aerobic base, and that comes with variation and exercise. And so our sales pitch with these kids is like, listen, you don't be discouraged where you are on day one. You have to be patient with yourself. And if you don't, and I tell you, if you stick it out for 2 to 3 weeks, I promise you will acclimate and your body will catch up and you will build confidence and you will reap the benefits by the end of the season. I mean, we get excited about the first races. I mean, it feels like a surreal experience with the tents, you know, the fans, the flags, and everything like that. The school pride is magnificent, but everything we do is to culminate for the region championship, because that's when it really matters.
Right.
And you'll see with their times and their PRs, you'll see that they continue to get faster and faster and faster, and then the goal is to plateau and then just expend every ounce of energy on that race. And we're fortunate enough to have a large talent pool, a great supportive community, administration, and I just love to be a part of something where they're really prideful about what it means to be a Granger.
Yeah. So Coach, man, man, before we go into this year, last year, man, you guys had a remarkable doggone year. You feel me?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got that, you know what I'm saying, Coach of the Year. But, yo, man, take me through last year's season, man. Give me the emotions of last year's season.
Sure, yeah. So we started off with a 2-mile tune-up to just kind of get because most of the kids, this was their first year running cross country.
Okay.
Some of them quit a sport, some of them were doing soccer, some of them were balancing band and cross country. And we got to witness them believe in themselves. And so over the course of the season, it was about getting up every single morning and having all the motivation in the world, but really drilling home that it takes discipline.
Yes, sir.
And that's applicable to anything that they approach in life. And so we're out there 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning every day before school.
Wow.
And we're getting after it. I mean, some days it was dark. And so you develop this camaraderie of like sweating blood, sweating tears. And, you know, they develop this cohesive sort of, you know, feel as a team.
Okay.
And it's one of those unique sports where your individual effort is what, you know, contributes to the success of the team, because it's about placement, it's about math. And so for us, the meet days and seeing the recognition and seeing the accolades and the satisfaction, especially with our social media presence, the kids feel acknowledged. They feel validated. They feel like it's not just a sport for conditioning. It's not just a sport to help with track, but it's to benefit both. You know, it's got to be something that's complementary and symbiotic and a mutually beneficial, you know, sort of competitors.
Yeah, man, it's dope though, man. So, Coach, you know what I mean? You got that phone call saying you got Coach of the Year, man. Give me all that emotion. Man.
Well, it was an email,
okay,
and it was just votes by coaches within our region.
Okay.
I was very surprised to see my name. And, you know, I was very honored because it also felt validating to me because I really devote a lot of my time, energy, and efforts into seeing this program headed in the right way. So for me, you know, I try to stay humble, but, you know, it's just like when I was approached about it, I was like, hey, that's kind of cool. But for me, it's not something that I'm trying to strive for again next year. I just want this year's team to be faster than last year's team.
Yeah.
And I want the people, when they think of LaGrange cross country, to think of as a powerhouse premier program that is bound for all kinds of success.
Yeah. So now, man, typically, man, you know, on teams, man, you know, so the head coach, man, controls the temperament of the team.
Yeah.
Man, give me your temperament, man.
My temperament, well, I'm kind of cool, casual, sort of laid back in how I approach things. It's all about praise. It's all about, you know, commending them. You know, I never try to bring a kid down,
right?
Because you want them to feel good about themselves when they do well, right? So for me, I think the only time I really got impassioned, so to speak, is when it mattered the most, and that was the region race, and it was literally a matter of like two of our runners and how they were placing. We have a website that many track and cross country coaches uses. It's called Mile Split, and there's a nifty tool on there that simulates the race day. So we do scout and we do some in-house recruiting. And so before we go to these meets, we're really comparing the numbers. And so we're saying, hey, this is your guy, all right, this is your girl, all right, and your job is that is your man. You got to beat them. And so for me, temperamentally, you know, I try to get around the course as much as I can and encourage them to go all out, because it's easy it's easy to let go when you're satisfied with your pace, all right? But at the same time, you got to leave it all on the table.
Yeah, sure.
At the very end of it, if you ask yourself the question, did I do my best? And the answer is no. Well, you got to rethink that approach.
Yes, sir.
So we really try to make sure that these kids are giving it their all because it's worth it. It's worth it in the end.
Yeah. So in terms of practice, okay,
Sure.
kind of break down what it looked like. Because, again, I salute every cross-country runner.
Yeah.
That's like, man, when I say mentally, that's
It's tenacity.
you feel
Yeah.
me? Like, it is, man. So what comes along with a practice schedule?
Sure. Yeah. Well, this year we're changing up a bit to make it more manageable for because we got kids who work, parent schedules, this, that, and the other. But to bring you through a typical day, we begin every workout with dynamic stretches. Static stretching in cross country is how you get an injury.
For sure.
So you got to do dynamic stretches to warm up. And so we have a little routine that we start off with. And we then go to a warm up. We
Okay.
always warm up. If it's a distance day, we just do 2 laps around the track. But if it's a regular speed workout, we always start with a warm up mile, and then we end the workout with a cool down mile. But the brunt of the work is it could be intervals, fartlek, progression runs, an Indian run. But there's so many variations, and it's very intentional, deliberate, and meant to really get at the physicality of their potential, right? So you got the fast and slow twitch muscle fibers.
For sure.
And we try to incorporate strength training, and they don't see it right now, so to speak. The veteran runners do.
Right.
But you really got to increase the oxygen transfer in
Yes,
your
sir.
body. And
Yes,
so to
sir.
do that, you got to do resistance training. You
Yes,
got to,
sir.
those kids.
Look at you, coach. I hear you, baby.
Those kids
Go
who
ahead.
finish the finish line, they
Yeah.
look like wrestlers. They got the V shape, and they look like they could outbench me.
Yeah,
or
yeah,
you.
yeah. No, I'm with you. Yeah.
But yeah, that's the kind of transformation we're aiming for, and we're well on our way.
I like that, man. Man, that's pretty good. So, all right, so school me. Take me to school right now, baby.
Yeah.
So, okay, now, a typical event lasts how long, or a typical race lasts how long?
Well, it's usually split into 4 races
Okay.
because it's co-ed. So you got boy, girl, varsity, and junior varsity. And they're very early in the morning because it's a fall sport, and you can't really beat this Georgia heat unless you
Right.
get out there early.
Right.
So we set up. I mean, it's a whole system. We got a tent. We got to get water. We got to get seats. We got to get snacks. It's a logistical challenge
Yeah.
to make sure everything's in order. But luckily, we have a great staff, and we got great volunteers, coordinators. We're hosting our first meet this year. But typically no more than 2.5 to 3 hours when it's all said and done, and we're back on the bus on our way to LaGrange. But it's the feeling, it's the sort of the vibe, if you will. And you walk around and everyone's in uniform.
Yeah.
Everyone's got their own team spirit.
Yeah.
The kids are waking up on the bus, but once they get there and they warmed up, it's like
It's showtime.
a fresh
Yeah.
cup of coffee.
Yeah.
We are ready to go. So yeah, we really try to be intentional about what they're wearing, what shoes are they? Do they have arch support? Are they eating right? Are they being rested? We are lucky to say, we had an awards banquet last year, and I failed to mention to everyone that we were surprised to learn that nobody got shin splints last year.
Really?
Yeah. So that was a point of pride that I failed to mention, but and it's because we really try to. Embrace injury prevention, and we want the kids to realize that you can't just go out and run.
Yeah.
You really got to prepare. So,
Preparation is key, man. Preparation is key. That's good stuff, though. So, okay, now, so talk about, man, who should we be watching this year, man? Who's on that radar, man?
Yeah, well, a few names come to mind.
Okay.
Well, for the boys, we really got some fast boys this year. Our returning runner of the year, his name is Walker Vinson. He's a senior.
My boy Walker, what's up, baby?
He's primed to PR this year.
Yeah.
And behind him is a newcomer, and actually 2 newcomers. A freshman, his name is Collier Baker, and he is enthusiastic. He brings a lot of energy to the team. He's a great competitor, and his attitude is just top notch. We have a soccer player, also a newcomer. His name is Logan Rayleigh.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
they are right now our current top 3 from our race trial in the middle of the summer. and we expect them to show up and show out.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, of course, we've got some returning veterans. Our captain, Calder Thurman. That fifth leg, though, we're trying to see who emerges for that fifth leg. So it'll be cool to see how the boys compete and bring out the best in each other. With the girls, we have a lot of newcomers this year. Some previous track experience.
Okay.
And I have personally witnessed, and I will testify. And I'm going to shout out to this individual because she needs the recognition. Layla Martin is her name.
Okay.
And she started off last year, and I'm just going to tell you that the way she started from humble beginnings with, struggling through the injury, struggling through her confidence, and then to see her go through last track season and return back to these summer workouts, and she looks like a totally different runner.
Really?
She's probably going to be our #1 runner. She's fast, she's confident, she runs strong. Close behind her, we have Callie Morris returning.
Okay.
And we have a lot of newcomers from the track program as well. Mackenzie Grissom is another one to look out for, and it's just we got a lot of names, and I don't want to do them a disservice by failing to mention some names that are not initially coming to my mind right now. But those are the ones that come to my mind.
Yeah, I like that, man. So, Coach, listen, man. If you would recruit me right now, right?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, if I'm a high school kid,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, we sitting down right now, Coach.
Yeah.
Pitch me up, baby.
Sure. Well, I like to connect one-on-one with kids because they really need that sort of. That's how you do a sales pitch. You're like, listen, you're not a runner.
Yeah.
Yet.
Okay.
Right? Like,
yeah.
I wasn't a runner until about 3 years ago. I mean, I was a track. Star is a bit of a stretch, but I was a competitor. I did track.
Right, okay.
But I became a distance runner about 3 years ago, and I really embraced it, and I realized that there's a lot of benefits to your neuroplasticity.
Yeah.
There's a lot of benefits to your endorphins, your serotonin, your ability, to do a lot of stuff. So for me, I tell the kids, I'm like, do you like pizza? Because every Wednesday after strength training, we got pizza in my classroom.
I'm sold, baby.
And if you want some free pizza, nobody likes to turn down free pizza.
Yeah.
You can be a part of that.
Right.
I always start with pizza.
Right.
And then I start with the fact that hey, we're going to take care of you. All right. We're going to make sure that this is something. It's not just something that, all right, guys, go run 5 miles, come back.
Right.
It is we are way more intentional than contrary to popular belief with the myths and misconceptions surrounding cross country. So for a kid, we say, hey, do you do any other sports, right? Do you do soccer? Do you do track? Well, guess what? We have something that can complement your training so that when you come back next year, the coaches in those sports can see that you got more speed, you got more stamina.
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to tell you right now, I mean, LaGrange High is all across the board athletically is bound for bold and beautiful things.
Wow.
I mean, we really got some great coaches and some great kids.
Yeah, man, that's what I'm sold. You know what I mean? Look, the pizza itself got me, Coach. I'm gonna let you know the pizza got me, man. So, Coach, so let me ask you this. So now, okay, my school's coming in, right? Man, how do you get them to balance? Earlier you talk about being a student athlete.
Yeah.
Man, how do you personally or your staff get them to balance being a student athlete?
Well, I will say it's easy because I'm a lot of their teachers.
Okay.
So I do teach quite a bit of them. I see some of them on my schedule this upcoming school year. So it's easy for me to keep tabs on their academics. But for us, I mean, we really try to emphasize discipline. And it's like, you cannot afford to slack off with your academics because this is what's going to afford you opportunities for the future, right? So, I mean, we live in a weird and wonky age where there's a lot of stuff going on, and you really want to try to increase their ability to write, read, listen, speak, and it's really a literacy-based approach with how I try to involve myself with them as their teacher.
I like it.
But I also have a great working relationship with a lot of the other teachers. So, whether it's in passing or whether it's a visit to their classroom, I'm going to check on how's Joey doing, So for us, it is easy because a lot of these kids are already gifted, academically.
Right.
But we really try to encourage tutoring after school, focusing, doing your homework, and connecting with the parents because we really, they're our biggest supporters. I mean, they are the glue that holds all of this together in terms of volunteering their time, donations, And so luckily for us, we have a lot of great parents out there that are making my job a lot easier.
Yeah.
And so I give them full credit for that.
Man, shout out to the parents, baby, showing love. So big. Let me ask you this now. So, in sports, man, you got your highs. Also got your lows.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let's talk about how do you deal with the lows of your sport.
It sounds a bit cliche to say this, but you can't heal until you suffer. You can't win until you lose. You can't succeed until you fail.
For sure.
So for me, the hardest lesson for a kid to learn is once you get knocked down, you got to get back up.
Yeah.
Because there's no going down any further. So adversity, overcoming challenges and obstacles is an essential and crucial component of becoming a winner. Michael Jordan was a great basketball player, right? But he still had to train. He had to own his skills.
Come on.
And he had a great leadership and teammates around him for the Chicago Bulls to win all those championships.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
He is the GOAT, but
he had to work.
All of the GOATs in every sport didn't do it by themselves.
Come on, man.
They had help.
Yeah.
So, we got to lean on one another.
Man, that's good stuff, man. Because I always say that. I mean, this is why I always say in my slogan, man, that the fame is free, but the grind costs. I mean, because you got to grind it out.
Yeah.
In order for you guys to get what you got last year, y'all had to grind out. So, man, let's talk rivals, man.
Yeah.
Give me that, man. You know what I mean? Give me that ball game there now. Is it like, you know what I mean? Like,
well, we don't try to have like enemies or
right.
nemesis,
For sure.
but we do have a local rivalry, so to speak. I mean, we LCS and LaGrange Academy last year hosted the county championship, and so we got 5 secondary schools that compete in cross country, and so this is the first year we're hosting it since I assumed the reins, and I think there's a healthy competition between us and those 4 other schools.
Okay.
But for us, I mean, we really, because a lot of the coaches and teachers we know outside of campus, and so it's like it's not really this kind of like
right. Don't come to my house.
We want to stomp you. It's more of like let's lift each other up and let's wish each other well for the season. But we're focused on our region opponents, and so we're nipping at the hills of Whitewater. And we got 2 schools that are holding the top 2 spots, and that's Trinity Christian and Stars Mill.
Okay.
And the only way we're going to get to their level is if we keep consistency going with the kids that are returning. The culture that we're creating, and the community that's supporting us. I mean, we had a hugely successful fundraiser. We now have an official tent, and we have the coolest uniforms this year. Shout out to Adidas.
Come on, baby.
They are providing us with and outfitting us with some really cool royal blue, LaGrange silver colors, and they are for the first time. They're going to look like an elite cross-country team, which I'm super psyched to see.
But I know that got you feeling good inside.
Absolutely.
I know that got you feeling good inside. So big dog, I'm going to tell you though, man, so at the end of every show, man, I always give my guests opportunity, you know what I'm saying, to say something positive, man, to the listener, to the viewers.
Yeah.
It's on you, big homie. Look at that camera and give it to them, baby.
Sure. To anybody who's chiming in and listening right now, my message is this, is at the end of the day, you are ultimately responsible for how do you choose to pursue your passions and how you, the hardest step every day is the first one. And so for me, you forge your own path and you lay down the brickwork for a foundation that can propel you to the next chapter in your life. And that's applicable to all your successes. So for me, don't do it by yourself, all right? You need other people to help you. And stay true to your character and just make sure that you're doing your very best because that's all that you and others can ask of you.
Man, I love it, man. Coach, you the man, baby.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much for having me.
Man, it's all love, man. It's all love. I wish y'all luck. Go do your thing, man. I know you're going to lead the way, man.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it.
For sure, man.
Certainly.
For sure. Yo, y'all know what it is, man. Coach, man. He's setting the bar high. Got to catch up with the bar, baby. Zip him up.